we go for launch.
5,
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
4,
My friend, we cannot keep this a secret any longer.
This whole thing is insane.
3,
Quiet, please. I am analyzing.
Where's the kaboom?
2,
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
1.
Greetings, my fellow galactic travelers, and welcome back to Planet 8. This is your mission commander Larry speaking to you from our hidden base. Chief Engineer Bob is here by my side as always in the command center, and circling Planet 8 in our orbital spy satellite is Reconnaissance Officer Karen. And on this episode of Planet 8, we're going to head into the go-back machine. We're going to take a look at some of the events, films, TV shows, and whatnot in 2023. Straight away, let's kick it over to Chief Engineer Bob. Bob, lead the way.
You know, I made a list of genre films, and some of the films were a little kind of like on the outskirts of the genre, but I was surprised at how many movies came out last year, because I was sitting there thinking, yeah, I don't know, I don't think I saw that many movies last year. And then I made the list. I'm like, oh crap, I saw a bunch of movies. So I'm going to kind of go down the list, and then we'll kind of comment on them, seen them, not seen them, like them, don't like them, whatever. We'll figure it out. So the first one, and this is kind of like in the order in which they came out last year. So I didn't do any favorites or preferences. So the first one was Megan.
Ah, yes.
Creepy doll movie. Did you, either of you guys see it?
Nope.
I did.
Yeah, I saw it as well. We watched it a week and a half ago, I guess.
I actually went with some friends, Chad and Jenny Martin, Jazz and I, my cousin Pete, to the UA Theater in Berkeley before they shut it down. It's no longer there, but yeah, we saw that movie there, and you know, it was entertaining. I don't own the physical media. I never saw it a second time. For a while.
I mean, I probably won't see it again, but
yeah,
it was okay. It was enjoyable. What cracked me up was that little dance she does.
Yeah.
Became really popular. That lasts for maybe 15 seconds in the movie. It's not like a Wednesday dance that goes on for a while. It was just like,
well, with all the reels and the TikToks and all the, you know, everyone is
put it on a loop, I guess.
I don't need to see any creepy little dolls running around. It's definitely not something that's on my list to watch. I have enough things to like give me nightmares. I don't need to add the fuel to the fire.
Well, you know, every once in a while you need a creepy little doll.
Yeah.
You guys can
whether
have
it's a talking Tina or Megan or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's like this generation's talking Tina.
That's right. So the second one that came out was Shin Ultraman.
Didn't see it. It's on my list.
It was good. It wasn't great. And if you've seen episodes of the original Ultraman, specifically the 5 or 6 that are in this movie's based on, then you kind of know what's coming, you know. Oh, here's Zerab. He's going to try to take over. You know, he's going to look like the evil Ultraman and fight Ultraman. Oh, here's Memphilas, and he's going to take over the world. You know, things like that. I mean, it's all, there's no big surprises in it, but it's a nice homage to the original Ultraman. Definitely worth the look.
Cool.
Then we had Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Wait, that was this year?
It was like January, February, something like that of this year.
Holy
Not
cow.
this is 2024 we're in here. So
I mean, okay, yeah.
early of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have sworn that came out in like the end of 2022. That actually, really, that came out in 2023.
According to the lists I saw online, yes.
I know this is a good episode when we shock Walker.
Because I was looking at stuff too. I didn't see that. I mean, I saw Ant-Man
Yeah.
in February.
Well, anyway, then let's skip it because we already did an episode on it, right? We talked about it, I remember, because everyone was so just excited about Submariner.
Yeah, well,
Okay, how about Knock at the Cabin? M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
I did not. It had what's his face?
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Batista.
Yep.
And the young girl. No, I didn't see it.
It was good. That's another one that we watched like a week and a half or so ago. And Dave Batista, he's obviously nothing like Drax in this,
Yeah.
but he, basically he and his cohorts go to this cabin where these two fathers and their daughter are staying for a little vacation. And they end up capturing them, tying them up. And the whole movie is basically one of the three of you has to die.
Yeah.
And you
No.
guys have to decide which one it's going to be. And each time they ask, who's it going to be? And they refuse to answer, there's another disaster that happens in the world. And the nice thing about this movie is you don't know. It's like, okay, is this really causing these disasters, or are these disasters just happening? And at one point, they're turning on the TV and showing them the disasters, and one of the characters are like, oh, you've got this recorded, you're playing it off something, this isn't really happening. And it has a nice, being M. Night Shyamalan, it has a nice twist ending to it. But it's good. I would recommend it if you have not seen it.
I will add that one to the list too.
There you go. The next one was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I know we spoke about.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I enjoyed it. In retrospect, maybe having Ant-Man beat Kang was maybe not the best idea for Marvel, but at the time, it seemed like an enjoyable little film.
Well, it was a nice showcase for Kang if he's not going to be around anymore, or we'll see what happens going forward.
It was a little too busy for me. I enjoyed Ant-Man 1 and 2 more than 3.
Fair enough.
There you go. All right. How's about Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
I saw it. It was okay. Again, wouldn't buy the physical media, won't watch it again, but
Yeah, I think it was on Max or something, so I ended up watching it just because it didn't cost me anything.
yeah.
And
Helen Mirren.
I'm not a big Shazam fan, so
I like
it was okay
Zach,
for what it was.
yeah, I like Zach Levi. I liked him in that show Chuck way back in the day. And yeah, it was okay. Not as good as the first one, in my opinion.
I still haven't seen the first one.
Did you see the second one?
I haven't seen that neither.
Ugh.
She ain't no Shazam fan. How about Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Yeah.
We talked
saw
about
that.
it as well. So go back and watch that episode.
It was okay.
I think that was the best recent Marvel movie we've had in a while. Which that's kind of like a low tent pole, I know, but
Yeah, I probably enjoyed the Marvels a little bit more. I think for me, when we talked about it, I think the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it was just a little too much like obvious with the whole rocket plot. Like, it's like, yes, I know you want me to be sad. And it's like, it didn't feel natural enough. Like they were just working me. They were working me too much. It was Spielbergian.
with the first movie, the whole thing, Groot sacrifice, and that it was very organic.
Yeah,
Felt a part of the story. And not that Rocket, it's not like torture porn, but it's almost like,
yeah,
they hurt his family and his friends, and just right to get us to cry.
yeah.
And the big man has no problem with his man tears, but don't
Don't force the man
back.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first movie. And I thought, some movies, it's like everything just clicks and everything works. And, when you're going in thinking, I'm going to see a raccoon and a talking tree, and it comes through and it works and it surprises you. And then I think the ones after just kind of.
Well, the
Mhm.
second one to me was great too. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, and that kind of father bond, and that to me worked. Yeah, but the third one just.
Well, I
Now the
think
Christmas special was good. Sorry.
the thing
Watch the
with
Christmas
Guardians,
before you see three, but
when Marvel put out Guardians, and like Bob said, they had a tree and a talking raccoon, that was the point where he said Marvel can get away with anything, right? And then for a while they could. So
and
I
little
remember that we were talking about it, and Karen had said, I firmly believe that Marvel can make a movie about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it'll just do phenomenal box office. So
unfortunately, they were probably listening.
yeah,
That was our last episode.
they bought their own hype.
yeah. Check our last episode.
Let's see. After that, well, this is not really genre related, but I did throw in John Wick Chapter 4, which I don't know, the Johnson family here, we love John Wick. So
I loved the first couple of movies.
One and maybe two, but after a while, and this was my complaint. This is so funny because I'll watch Flash and Spider-Man and Batman versus Superman, and I'm okay with people flying and getting beaten up, but when you have like I know he's an assassin, but Jesus Christ, this guy was like flying through walls, and from the first movie, two-story fall. By the time you get to the fourth and fifth film or whatever, it's like a 20-story fall, and he's still alive, and he cuts his finger and gets shot, and he's still able to do samurai, sword fighting. And I don't know. My mother loves it. She absolutely,
good for her.
yeah, she'll come over and visit the Johnson family any day.
Have her come over. We'll do a John Wick marathon maybe next years.
Jasmine likes it too. She's a big Keanu fan, so
Bring 'em all over.
yeah, that's all good.
The next one is a little film called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse,
Mm.
which was probably one of the better films
Mhm.
last year.
Yeah. I don't think I liked it as much as the first one, but it was definitely one of the stronger genre films for me.
It's all going to depend on how the third one ties it all together.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because it's in the middle there.
Yeah. It's very much like Daniel Craig's first three Bond movies. Quantum of Solace being in the middle, it seemed like a middle movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't a really good beginning, not a really good end. It was just a big middle. So this might basically suffer from the same fact that it was a middle film, but
We shall see.
then again, so was Empire Strikes Back, right?
There you go.
So there are ways to make a good middle film. How about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts?
Let's see.
We kind of binged our way through the Transformer movies, and then we watched that one. And Debbie and Michael are big Transformer fans, so they're okay. A bunch of big clanking metal battles and robot beasts and things like that, and Optimus Prime and all. Again, it's kind of mindless adventure entertainment.
Optimus Primal.
How about The Flash?
Oh,
Ooh.
yes.
Saw it on HBO just recently, maybe a couple months ago, whenever it came out.
I think last time we talked about it, Karen hadn't seen it yet.
Right.
What did you think, Karen?
I'm glad Michael Keaton was in it. He was entertaining.
Oh, he was really good. I mean, I guess they decided not to make any more Michael Keaton Batman movies, but
That's too bad.
that
'Cause
kind of
he's-
got your hopes up.
Yeah, he was entertaining. I enjoyed seeing him in it.
Yeah, my
I don't
understanding
know,
is
kind of a big mess of a movie. Some interesting parts here and there, but yeah, just another overstuffed burrito for me. No
I'm
point.
I'm a Grant Gustin guy, so I'm not really big into Ezra Miller. So
Yeah,
um I just think he's too freaking goofy as a Flash.
he's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And that's besides all of his other extracurricular activities. So
I wasn't taking in anything outside the movie. I was just trying to watch the movie like, okay, here's a character in this film and not paying attention
right.
to his outside stuff. But
What thinkest thou, Larry?
I loved it. I didn't love it. Yeah, Michael Keaton was great. I'm a big fan of Grant's Flash as well. This Ezra guy, he did okay. I mean, I liked him in Justice League 2 that, he thinks he can get one on Superman and he's going super fast and Superman just goes, "What?" And he's like, "Whoa."
I will give you that. That's an amusing scene in
Yeah.
that movie.
And I like the way he runs, kind of like that jerky little
He's such a terrible runner. Oh my God.
it's kind of like a strange puppet kind of run. I didn't get the physical media, so I liked it, but wanted to love it and just
how does it stack up to Batman versus Superman?
nope. That doesn't stay even with Michael Keaton. And the sad thing is, my understanding is had it done great at the box office, Michael Keaton would have got his own Batman movie, Batman 3, if you will, or 4. And who knows what, that could have done. Warner Brothers has just made a mess of things. Their HBO Max is all goofed up and they're sending DC stuff over to Hulu and the Batgirl movie, they canned it so they could get a tax write-off and
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at all. It's like you made this movie, you spend all this money on it, even if it's a tax write-off, just throw it on Max.
And it's right because you would have made more money worldwide because they're going to watch it on Greek Max and Japan Max or whatever. It would have made money. And the tax write-off is not that big of a write-off, but it's done over years anyway. I won't.
There's some accounting trick in there that
there is, and there was some other stuff that they did the same thing too. Anyway, so yeah.
All right. The next one is Asteroid City.
Huh?
I've not seen it
City,
yet.
which people kept telling me is so good, so good. And Tom Hanks is in it, and Scarlett Johansson's in it, and there's other big stars in it. It's really, I mean, if you guys have any drugs, take them before watching this movie because it's basically this city this town in the middle of a desert where this asteroid had crashed, and it's kind of an alien invasion type thing loosely, but the whole film, all the sets are really colorful, one-dimensional backgrounds. So it's almost like you're watching a play. And, the buildings aren't like fully realized buildings. And it's just, you have to see it to get it. And even when you see it, you may not get it. But, it's entertaining. The acting, and this is like one problem I have with a lot of movies like, Lost Skeleton and Cadaver and things. when people do movies based on an era, especially like the 50s, they overdo the acting style. So it's like, back then, yeah, they talked fast, they talked, using a lot of long sentences that you wouldn't usually use in normal conversation. And a lot of the actors were from the stage, so they're emoting more. And so it's almost like the acting is like a parody of the acting in those genre films. And it gets to be kind of distracting. And I see what they're trying to do, but it ain't quite working.
It's going to be a hard pass for me. Let's move on to our next film.
Well, get the drugs. It might be okay. You might enjoy it.
It's like that Nicolas Cage movie, Mandy, where you got all coked out and it's like,
I want to see that. I haven't seen that.
oh, it is so entertaining. It is so bizarre. Yeah, anyway.
I threw in Extraction 2, which was a Netflix movie, only because it starred Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. I saw the first one. I didn't catch
it's almost like John Wick, a little more military version of John Wick.
Yeah, haven't seen that one.
It was okay if you like the John Wick type stuff. How about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which I know we've talked about before.
Yeah, I've seen it since on Disney, and it's really grown on. I was okay with it, but I like it. I enjoyed it.
I saw it again. Well, I struggled to watch it again because we were trying to watch it over New Year's Eve, and one of our dogs has a terrible fear of fireworks, and the new medication that the doctors told us to try did absolutely nothing for the poor dog. And so basically for 6 hours, he was running back and forth in the house barking. And so we were trying to watch Indiana Jones and struggling, and we paused it at a certain point and then picked it up later. I think maybe I enjoyed it a little less the second time around, but I think it's because there were certain parts that really dragged for me. Of course, having a dog running behind you barking for hours is going to make you not enjoy it.
If the dog's medication actually worked, if it was better, you could use it while watching Asteroid City.
Yeah, well, I thought at one point I would just use the medication on myself, but I wasn't that brave. I still don't think this Indiana Jones movie deserves all the crap that it's been given. I think
it was pretty good. I mean,
yeah,
it was a good way out. I mean, it was a good way to end.
And I think they need to end it. I don't think they need to do another one. I know I heard talk like, well, Harrison would be willing to do another. It's like, no, just go
you
out.
wouldn't want to see any indie offspring or anything.
Yeah, let's just.
I would be okay if they were to have Harrison Ford on his deathbed, giving the hat to the actor that plays Short Round, and the series becomes The Adventures of Short Round. I'd watch.
Not Shia LaBeouf or whatever.
No. Give it to the Goonie. I'd watch that.
All right. This next one, I think I can predict your guys' reactions on this one. That would be Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes, that was really predictable. Yeah, I loved it. I've become a big fan of the Mission. Poor Larry. The Mission Impossible film.
I was surprised how good Haley Atwell was in that movie.
Oh yeah.
And Simon Pegg, he's getting bigger roles. Always love watching him.
Bing Rames. The whole team is really fun to watch now.
Yeah. Larry's favorite actor, Tom Cruise, was good.
He ran really well in the movie again.
Doing all his own stunts and everything.
So did Ezra Miller. He ran really good in his Flash movie.
Ezra Miller needs to learn from Tom Cruise how to actually run. You never put your arms in front of your body when you're running. You keep your arms at your side.
Make some fists, you know.
You know.
Oh,
So anyway,
yeah.
part one.
Next,
We'll talk about part 2 on the show when it comes out. But
God, I hope we don't do an episode on that.
the next one is a little film called Oppenheimer.
Ah,
Yeah.
Did everyone see Oppenheimer?
yes. I
Yes.
saw it, enjoyed it, did not see Barbie. But
Yeah, I did not do the Barbenheimer thing, but
yeah, a lot of people were doing Barbenheimer.
I
That's what they called
just
it.
saw Barbie over the holiday break, and I have to say it was quite entertaining. I was really surprised.
yeah, that's what I've actually heard, is that it's actually pretty funny. But
It is. It's really funny and it's really thought-provoking and heart-warming and all that stuff.
and
So
very
it's very pink though. Yeah, so you have to deal with that. But I would say, you know, check it out. It's on, I think we saw it on Prime.
Walker, hold up both your hands right now, and if I see this, I know you've been replaced. Who is this person who didn't
I
care
like
too
a
much for
lot.
the last Indiana Jones, enjoyed Mission Impossible and Barbie?
You know what? As we go through life, Larry, things happen. Things happen to your body as you get older, Larry, and your body chemistry changes, your
and
mind
your mind.
changes, grows, expands.
Not for me and Bob.
We're still into the Kung Fu and Dynamite.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought Oppenheimer was really good. I was really impressed with the cast in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
The
I was
storytelling.
impressed with Robert Downey Jr. I didn't realize.
He was almost unrecognizable.
Well,
Yeah.
supposedly they predict that he'll be up for Best Supporting Actor in the Oscar. For that.
No,
So-
but I agree with you, Walker. That was a nice little film. A lot of dialogue.
But
Yeah.
you see him in the movie and he's playing this old guy, and you're thinking, oh man, there's no way he could go back and be Tony Stark at this point.
Oh, he played such a jerk. And you know, I don't know how historically accurate all of that was. I know, you know, there was some political stuff going on in McCarthyism and all that. But boy, what a jerk. Oh, man.
Well, you know, going
Good thing things
into
have
it,
changed in Washington.
yeah. I hadn't really read much up on it going into seeing it. And I thought, okay, it's about, you know, making the atomic bomb and all that. But I didn't realize that it's really about his life before, during, and after
Right.
the bomb, and you know, how he had to deal with creating this weapon that killed so many people, and you know, is now sort of a doomsday device, and
Basically.
yeah,
Right.
really
Genie's out of the bottle.
hanging heavy. So
Yeah. It was
yeah,
funny too.
definitely.
Before the movie, knowing that it was like a 3-hour plus.
It moved pretty fast though.
That was the thing. It was like I was like hesitant to go, but then once we were in it, it just seemed to go by really fast. So the pacing was really good.
Well, Walker, as you said, we get older, our minds and our bladders.
The minds expand, but the bladders shrink. So
So I had to.
But see, if you
Pause
watch it at home on TV, then
That's
you
what
can
we
pause
did.
it whenever your bladder.
That's what we did. Is like potty break. Okay.
oh yes.
Now, did you have this problem with like Endgame?
You know, I did, but I knew I was going to see it multiple times, and so I would remember where I went the first time, and I'd push it a little, you know, because I already saw the movie at that point, so I could pee at any point during the second movie and just rewatch what I missed the first
Actually,
time.
you have one of the best bladders though of anybody I know.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You hold it the longest of probably any of my friends. So.
Well,
Oh my.
that'll become a question when we start going to conventions and stuff, and we have a panel. Who has the best bladder, Karen,
Who's the
Bob,
best-
or Larry?
I tell you, man, I see like outside lands and all these like concerts and a big field of people, and let's think about myself like in the middle of that crowd, and suddenly you got to, oh man, that's when you need the jetpack so you can just hover above and zip over to the porta potty and back.
Oh, I thought you were going to say just hover above.
Sprinkler system.
Right. Water the lawns.
Next movie.
Next
Yeah.
movie is Last Voyage of the Demeter.
I wanted to see that.
I've yet to see that. Yeah, we have it queued up, but
I have seen it. In fact, I watched it just before our vampire episode and didn't really get too into it in that episode, but it's very good. I mean, obviously, for those who don't know, it's based on just a little tiny part of the Dracula story where Dracula basically boards the ship over in Transylvania and takes it to London where he comes out. And so it's basically what happened during that voyage. Because when you see it in the original movie, Renfield's the only one left, and then the rest of the crew has been killed. And it's like, wow, okay, that sounds cool, but what happened? And so this one shows you what happened. And at the beginning of the voyage, he's more of a Nosferatu type vampire, and kind of evolves into the Dracula we know. So it's good. I would definitely, probably one of the better horror movies of 2023. I would definitely recommend it.
I have to catch that.
Oh.
Let's see. After Voyage of Demeter, Blue Beetle, which I did see and
Fail.
liked my 2 hours of life back, but
Bob scared me after he told me about it, so I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
not gonna go.
Blue Beetle. I mean, they talk about people getting superhero fatigue. And I don't really think, you come out with a good superhero movie, it's going to do good. You come out with a Blue Beetle, going to be some fatigue. I would not recommend it. On the flip side of the coin, the next one would be the Marvels.
Oh,
And
that was enjoyable.
The Marvels?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun little movie.
I enjoyed the Miss Marvel TV show, and it kind of like paid off in some stuff with her family in the movie and the whole Kamala Khan, which is surprising to me. I think we talked about this in one of the episodes. The MCU, her starting the Young Avengers. I hated the idea of a comic book of Young Avengers, but I'm okay with the movie, just because the actresses are so charming and really do their characters justice.
Yeah, I didn't think the movie deserved the bad press or bad word of mouth that it got. I mean, it was basically proclaimed a bomb before it even came out in theaters.
Yeah.
Which they do every once in a while to films that don't deserve it, like John Carter or Speed Racer or Iron Giant. Anyway, I mean, I don't have a problem really with Brie Larson that some people, I guess, do. So I enjoyed the movie. It was good. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson is always good.
Much better Nick Fury than like we said, than
Secret Invasion. But I thought it was fun. It was short. It was like 90 minutes. I think it was the shortest Marvel movie to date. And but I think that worked in his favor because there's not a lot of wasted scenes in the movie.
Right.
Moves along at a pretty brisk pace.
Yeah, it was a great popcorn movie. I don't own the physical media, but
I don't think the physical media is out yet.
That's your disclaimer.
When it comes out, I may pick it up.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just to have in the collection.
The next one is Godzilla -1.
Oh.
my favorite of the year, obviously. But yeah, it's such an excellent movie. And it keeps getting, it's just a little Japanese film, and it just keeps getting extended. I think it's extended through January 17th now. And they just released, or they're going to release, a black and white version in Japan in theaters. So, because everybody was talking about how it's almost like a prequel to the original Godzilla, or it's taking place back in the mid 40s, basically. So they're releasing a black and white version, which I don't think they'll do here, but I'm hoping it'll be on the Blu-ray as an option. But
Yeah, I love that movie, and Jasmine's only exposure to Godzilla was Godzilla versus Kong, and she loved that movie, the way that it played out and stuff. And I was kind of lukewarm with it, but boy, it's so wonderful when, just like Wrath of Khan, when she saw Wrath of Khan for the first time, when she saw Night of the Living Dead for the first time, that these films still have resonance, and the stories, still speak to the human spirit. And have you seen it, Walker?
I went to see where I could go see it, I think the second or third week. And by the time I went to see, where it was at, the two theaters that I was looking at had moved it to like the living room theater, where they only had like 7 rows of seats. And I don't want to go do that. So I'll probably just wait for it to come out on streaming.
Okay, well, we will not say anything
so
else.
at the end,
I can't believe Geeger showed up. I mean, that was ballsy. Let me just say, Walker audience, the man tears multiple times throughout the film.
well, that was the thing about the movie, is that the characters are so strong.
Oh,
And
probably the best.
because
Like,
a lot of people are like, oh, there's too many people in there. We want to see the monsters. And it's like, well, no, the characters, they keep your interest, and you have an actual feeling for them, so that when things do happen, you're more invested in the character than you are
and it seems like a real story too. It's like, hey, look, I'm not knocking. I had a discussion with Chad a week ago. I'd never seen Final Wars, Godzilla Final Wars, the 50th anniversary. And I think it was the director of 1985 directed that film too. So I was like, oh, okay, this has to be really good. I mean, I didn't care for the alien guy, and he was kind of dancing around in his little, oh, okay, now we're gonna send over. I'm like, what is this? Anyway, -1 though. And when you do see it, Walker, we shall talk.
All right.
What, about -1 or about Final Wars?
We could talk about Final Wars now if you want.
I'll tell you a quick story about Final Wars. We went down to the Egyptian theater for the red carpet premiere of Final Wars. And that was when Godzilla got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and everything else. And Kevin and I were sitting together watching the movie. And as soon as the movie was over, and they had the cast there and bigwigs from Toho and everything else. And Shogo Tomiyama, who is basically the executive producer of a lot of the films in that era, he comes walking up, and he comes right up to me and Kevin and said, "What do you think?" And we were just like, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, we were just kind of like dumbfounded after sitting through it. And then he comes up, the Toho guy comes up, and
Yeah, that's rough.
so anyways, all right, so Godzilla -1, go see it before it leaves theaters. It may never leave theaters. They keep extending it. I mean, who knows? It may play in theaters forever.
And I'll say this, you do not have to be a fan of monster movies or Godzilla movies, and Godzilla's name is in the title, but it's really not about Godzilla. He's a part of the story, but I almost took it as, he was the B side of the story, not the A side, which again,
Like, I had a friend at work ask me, can my family and I go see this? Do we have to? There's like 30 Godzilla movies. Do we have to watch all of those before we go see this?
yeah.
No, it stands completely on its own. It's its own world. So yeah, no, you can go without even ever seeing a Godzilla movie.
And it's so funny because in the first Godzilla, the American version, they introduced Steve Martin to kind of bridge the gap of cultures, I guess, Bob. Well,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the first movie was 1954, which is only like 9 or 10 years after we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it's like, there was still a lot, and it probably is today too. But I mean, back then, there's still a lot of Japanese prejudice. So, they felt they could not just release a Japanese movie, even if it's dubbed, and have it be any kind of commercial success. So they brought in Raymond Burr and they shot his scenes like over a couple days and edited them pretty seamlessly into the movie. And I kind of look at it as when you're watching the original Gojira or you're watching Godzilla King of the Monsters, it's the same event seen from two different perspectives. King of the Monsters, you see it from Steve Martin's perspective, reporter. In the original, you see it from that reporter's perspective and the Japanese, citizens and that. So it's like, here's a movie, and then here's an American who was there during that time and is reacting to what happened in that movie. So I mean, I enjoy both. I mean, obviously, I grew up with the Raymond Burr version.
Yeah, no, I agree. Me too.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
So I dropped my list on the floor.
Ah,
But the only other movie, I had two more movies on here. One is Rebel Moon Part 1.
oh my God. Okay, we watched that the other night too.
Oh, you did see it?
Yeah. I mean, that thing would probably have been a half hour shorter if you took all the slow motion parts and showed them at normal speed. The guy loved slow motion. Oh my God, so much slow motion. And then once I noticed it, I couldn't stop noticing it. It was like, oh my God, every action scene is a slow motion. Yeah, I just thought that was a complete, utter waste of time.
I have not seen the movie.
I've seen it.
I don't know.
I kind of, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I mean, it was sort of, I didn't have as big a problem with it as Karen did, but
with the slow motion, just like, and I haven't seen it, but I understand what you're saying, Walker, just like with the Scorpion King. And we talked about this in one of our episodes, I think, stop motion, where the CGI was just so bad, it removes you from the film.
Yeah.
I love Kingdom of the Spiders, and I never noticed this before. We've been watching a lot of I've introduced Jasmine to Twilight Zone, and so we watch Twilight Zone episode every night, and now we're starting over. Season 1 episode, we're up to episode 3. But the Invaders, the music that they played on the Invaders episode of Twilight Zone is the music that they play on Kingdom of the Spiders. And I just, every time they played the same piece of music, they did the movie on the cheap. It just kind of like struck me and kind of got me out of the, whole feel of it. But
well, I mean, the last thing I would say about Rebel Moon is it's basically Seven Samurai in space.
Yeah.
It's the exact same story as the Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Given a modern spacey twist.
I'm glad that Snyder wound up doing it this way, and that they didn't let him make a Star Wars. That's
Next film.
ugh.
Next film, last film. I don't think any of us seen it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Nope.
Well, then we can skip right over that. How about some TV?
Well, I had a movie,
Yeah.
Oh,
a
what's
couple of movies, but I'll just throw out one to see if you guys saw it, because
No, put them out there.
there were a number of films that we watched over the holidays that we didn't see in the theater, but we did see on streaming. One of them was The Creator.
Did not see that.
You guys did not see that. So,
I think it was on the list, but we didn't get to it.
so it has, was it John David Washington? It's Denzel Washington's kid,
Oh, okay.
who's been in a number of films. I think he was in, oh gosh, not Inception, the other movie that Nolan made with the time distortion.
Space thing.
Anyway, and yeah,
Interstellar.
involves sort of this war against AIs, and this guy who's sent to like destroy the AIs, and then winds up throwing in with the AIs. And I don't know, I didn't really know what I was supposed to. It's like they take a side with the AIs, basically. Like we're supposed to feel like, oh, we shouldn't be wanting to eliminate these AI beings. But it's sort of like, yeah, but aren't they going to wind up eventually replacing? I don't know. It was weird. I didn't know how I felt about it.
Hey, wasn't that the one where they had the like cylindrical holes in their heads or whatever?
Yeah, they have these like holes in their heads, which, and again, it was like a weird design choice to me. Like, why would they even be built that way? So, yeah, I can see from Larry's face, he's like, oh man, I wouldn't have wanted to be sitting in the theater with Karen that day watching the movie. Yeah, I had a lot of questions about that movie. So that was one of them. We also watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was actually much better than I thought it would be. It was funny. It was
Never
cute.
played the game, did not see the movie.
And then Renfield was another one.
Oh,
Yes, I did see
That
it.
was
I
good.
should put
Yeah.
that on the list.
I thought that was pretty funny. It was entertaining.
it was. It was.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I liked his portrayal of Dracula.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
It was fairly crazed, but that's what you expect from Nicolas Cage, right? And gosh, I can't remember is it Nicholas? It's not Nicholas Holt. He was in X-Men.
Yeah, the
He played
Beast.
Renfield, yeah.
Can't think of his name. I think.
yeah. I thought he did a nice job too. He handled the comedy well. So anyway, those were just
And Aquafina was part of the cast.
oh yeah, she was good actually. She
Yeah.
was really good in that. So those were a few of the movies we caught while on holiday.
Holiday.
Jolly. Yes, those are all like very Christmassy movies. So
Oh yes, so heartwarming and lift up the spirit.
We saw a holiday movie. Jasmine, like I said, is a huge John Wick, and I can't think of the name of the damn movie. Silent Night, I think it was called, or Silent. I think it was Silent Night, and it's basically this guy. His son gets shot by these gangsters or hoodlums, and he gets shot too, and he can't talk anymore. He lost the ability to talk, and he trains himself lifting like bottles of water and doing his own target practice, and gets himself to a point where he goes after the main gangster, the head of this drug cartel, and there are levels to this building and he fights different people, and the police get
Like
I'm
Game
like,
of Death.
that's
this
right.
is basically just John Wick with another, and when Jasmine puts her phone down, it's like, oh, and I
Was
fell
this one-
asleep.
Is this one with David Harbour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
No,
it
I haven't
Silent
checked it.
Night?
But I didn't see the movie.
And
And now I'm gonna have to wait till next Christmas because I can't watch like Christmas season. So
yeah, so yeah, you don't have to watch it though. I mean, if you get a chance to.
um
So we're going to talk about some TV.
Well, we'll zip through some TV real quick because some of these we talked about already, and then there's not as many as there were movies, obviously. But the first one I thought was one of the better ones. That would be The Last of Us.
Yeah, it was a really good show. Surprising was not what I expected. It was much better than I expected.
You didn't expect mushroom zombies?
I didn't expect the emotional depth of the show.
Yeah.
Between Pedro Pascal and the girl?
Yeah, and then just also the supporting characters,
Uh-huh.
some of the background stories that they told, all of that, yeah, was surprising to me because I thought, well, I never played the game, so I had no idea what the game was about. But just like, oh, another zombie thing. Kind of tired of all the zombie stuff, but I heard good stuff about it, so I checked it out, and yeah, it was surprisingly affecting.
The young girl is a very strong actress from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's solid. Pedro Pascal is a good actor, but yeah, he was okay, but he wasn't a standout for me. But it was a great series. Yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, they had some pretty heavy episodes or heavy scenes. Well, there's that one where she makes friends with that one boy.
The little boy, yeah,
And it's like,
tough one.
towards the end, he's basically got bit and she's got to take care of him. It's like, okay, well.
Yeah.
The other, she meets a girl in that arcade. Those are pretty heavy scenes.
It was, yeah, I agree. Good stuff.
The Last of Us. So there should be another season coming at some point. Another one, CW, Gotham Knights, probably the last you'll ever see of superheroes on the CW.
Did not see.
But yeah, it was okay.
Did not see it.
Nothing great, but now the next one I put on only because somebody told me it's really good, and I just put it on there because I have to remember to watch it. It's on Paramount Plus called Rabbit Hole.
I heard about that. I haven't seen it either.
Never heard of
Supposed
it.
to be pretty good. So suppose it was about, I'm losing my papers again. Supposedly it's about like some thieves and but they're almost kind of Robin Hood type,
Right.
where they're not just stealing for themselves or stealing for others to help others and things. But he said it has a very Lupin flair to it, not the cartoon, but the French Lupin series that's been playing on Netflix, which is actually very good. If anyone, I think it has 3 seasons now. So the next one is Walking Dead, Dead City. That was a series with Maggie and Negan.
Did it get picked up for a second season?
I believe so. And it definitely left the story open for a second season where Negan is basically going to be Negan again. And there's one scene where he's like, Negan comes out and it's, if you watch the series, you'll know as soon as he does this, it's very Negan. But I didn't realize how much of an asshole. Well, I won't say. I say bitch. Maggie could be.
Oh,
I mean,
he's gone through a lot.
He killed Glenn and all that, but in The Walking Dead, it was almost like she was kind of coming to the point where she was kind of accepting him as part of the group. And at the beginning of this series, it seems that's the way too. But then you find out, no, not so much. She's still got some problems with this guy. And yeah, so
I feel Walking Dead is kind of like WTF Walking Dead, the MCU. There's zombie fatigue in the Keiko's household, and
not here. I still
I
watch
don't know.
this stuff.
I feel as though the hammer, they should have struck the hammer with multiple series sooner rather than so much later. Just my personal.
Well, I mean, that brings it to the next one is Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, where Daryl
the first
washes
episode
ashore in France, and it's actually very good. And towards the end, you find out that Carol will be coming back. But I think season 2 is supposed to be Daryl and Carol.
Oh,
But now, will that tie in any way to the next one, which is Those Who Survive, which is Rick and Michonne? We'll see.
we shall see.
Next one, of course, is Secret Invasion. I think we crapped on that enough in the
Yeah.
TF series.
Don't waste your time.
But we also got Loki season 3 or 2.
Season 2. Yeah.
It was good.
Which
Solid.
that was, and obviously that has ramifications that'll carry on in the MCU for movies to come, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely a good one. And yeah, Short Round is in it, which was interesting. Next one's a little TV show called Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I did enjoy that quite a bit.
Hoping for a season 2.
Well, everything's going to be so delayed. It's like now we're going to have to watch all these like European series on freaking Netflix for the next year because, and it's tough. I've turned a few things on, watched an episode or two and gone, oh man. And I'm not saying that, there aren't some good series made in other places. There's a bunch of stuff that I've enjoyed, like Deadlock from New Zealand, which is hilarious if you haven't seen it. It's a hilarious police drama comedy, and there's other stuff out there too, but like some of this stuff, it's just like our TV, like 10% of it's really great and 90% of it is like crap, and that's the problem. You got to wade through all the crap, and now we're gonna have to wade through all the European and Asian crap. So
Well, I'll tell you, Lupin. It's from France. It was shot in France, in French, etc. It's dubbed here, but very good. I recommend it.
he's a
Of course,
thief.
he's a thief.
So it's
He
a heist.
basically, he's a thief, but he models himself after the original Arsène Lupin. His father gave him the novels. He's read all the books, and all his crimes are patterned after Lupin. And so, as they're trying to catch him in that, the only one there's 2 people that can really kind of predict what he's going to do, and that's his son, because he's been reading the novels, and then this one police detective who realizes that he's doing all these Lupin capers. And he's got the books and the stories, and he's got it all mapped out in his office with the map and everything else and the graphs, and trying to stay one step ahead of him. But it's very good. It's a really good series.
Reminds me of the Son of the Pink Panther. No, just kidding.
Well, we had Strange New Worlds and Picard season 3, Strange New Worlds season 2, Picard season 3.
Hard season 3 was fantastic. I just rewatched it from the Blu-ray, and I just started to dive into the extras on the Blu-ray. But
Great story.
watching it like one episode after the other over like a few nights, very rewarding.
I was a little taken aback with fat balding Data, but like Walker said, we change, we get older, and they
he wanted to be human, so he's very human.
He went all in.
But no, I mean, I look at this and I ask myself 2 questions. One, why didn't they start this from the beginning instead of all the other crap they had?
I know.
Talk to Patrick Stewart.
And 2, why didn't they just make a Riker series instead? Because he is so good in season. I mean, he was in season 1 and 2, whatever, but he was so good in season 3. He could have, I think, carried a series better than Jean-Luc Picard or Patrick Stewart.
There were interviews with Jonathan Frakes, and he's been a director for quite a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
And when they asked him to come play Riker, it was just a small little, bit in the first season, small little bit in the second. When they said, no, the third season, and he had to really take a look at who Riker was and where Riker would be now. And I assume all the actors, they did wonderful jobs. They did something similar, but Frakes really like poured into it and talked to, Sir Patrick, Marina, and just the dynamics in those relationships, because he spent most of the screen time talking between those two. It's just he's such a wonderful director and a fantastic actor. And I agree. I would watch a Riker series. No problem. No questions whatsoever.
See, because watching the first 2 seasons and seeing Patrick Stewart on there, I thought season 3 would be like Next Generation in slow motion. But no, I mean, they pulled it off. They didn't apologize for the actors being older. They went with the fact that they were older, and here's their weaknesses, here are their strengths. Here's what they bring to the party.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it was really good.
After season 2's waste of John Delancey as Q, it was a waste of his acting ability, of the character Q, the story that they told us. It was just,
Well, season 1, but especially season 2, demonstrates why you don't want to have like an actor in control of the story, because essentially Patrick Stewart wanted to tell a story about his life, not about Picard's life. I mean, he's telling a story that is based on his experiences growing up and kind of his issues with his parents and all these other things. And it's like, this isn't really like what we knew about Picard per se. I mean, at one point in one episode, he has a vision of his elderly mother and all this other stuff. And it's like, so why is he having this? Because Patrick Stewart, and that's why the crew wasn't in the first 2 seasons. He wanted to focus on his character.
You're absolutely right.
It's also why we had like Nemesis. Nemesis was him and Brett Spiner out of control.
Yeah.
Well, it's very much like, was it Moon Knight? Where it's like, okay, is Moon Knight going to even be in this series? Or
Sir Patrick makes no apologies. He said as much on the book tour. He spoke about his father more than anything else in that broken relationship, and you feel for him. I mean, but anyway, yeah. Season 3 of Picard, very, very good. Strange New Worlds. I love the actor that plays this version of Captain Pike. And thank you for the Mego Pike Walker. I forgot to thank you for that.
I was hoping you didn't have that already.
I do not. But Anson Mount is a wonderful actor. I believe he is underutilized, especially in season 2. And it's funny, Lord Bloodraw and I will text after episodes while it was airing. I would, I can't believe, Nurse Chapel. They could have called her, and Walker and I have said this before, they could have called these characters any other name. Didn't have to be related to Khan, didn't have to be a younger version of Chapel, even Dr. Mabenga. And they're taking super drugs to do these fantastic James Bond type escape things, and there's Klingon assassins and all this kind of crap. And there's Lord Blood-Braw. Oh, no. See, what they're doing is they're setting it up so that Christine and Spock, when they have that moment before the pump, and I'm like, am I looking at this the wrong way? Am I so set in my ways that Kirk and Spock have to be these characters? But he loves Strange New Worlds. Even the not the American Spock, but the human version of Spock. And I hated the human version of Spock. And he's, and then they sang.
Yeah.
And well, Buffy, everyone says,
Worked for
oh,
Buffy,
Buffy
yeah.
had a musical episode.
That's Buffy.
60 Minutes isn't going to have a musical episode. It doesn't
See, I think that's why Debbie and I were able to enjoy it, because we aren't, I mean, I love Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and all those, but we're not so invested in these characters that they have a little fun with them. It's not going to kill us. Or, if they go off and, do something that's not exactly canon, yeah, it's not going to kill us. It's like a different it's a different story, maybe a different universe, who knows? But we were able to enjoy it for what it was.
Hey, I told the same thing to Lord Blood-Rah, and I tell everybody, you love something, love it, support it. You're looking at the only man on Earth, at least on Planet 8, that loves Batman versus Superman. So, you embrace it. Walker, she loves that show with Mother, the wolf and the flying robot.
Raised by wolves.
Raised by wolves.
Could have had another season, God.
That was the one I was just like, oh.
That was a great show. That was a great show.
And
I am one of those
Possible, or
I have a hard time with Strange New Worlds. Just because, I think
they go back in time and Con Noonien Singh is a 9-year-old kid in like Toronto.
I think for me it's sort of like they played a little too fast and loose with stuff. And I also just feel like it just kind of shows that they don't really understand the show that well. Like, oh, we can do this, we can do that, whatever. But you know what? They're not making Star Trek for me anymore. So I just have to kind of accept it. And
you remember the conventions we would go to, and the old person would go to the front to the speaker, and whether it was Jimmy Doohan or Leonard Nimoy, and they'd get upset because the Klingons now have ridges on their forehead. The Klingons shouldn't have in the motion picture.
I feel like this is worse than that, but I see your point. I see.
What is happening to me?
Anyway, I'll still watch it.
Enjoy it for what it is. And then the other one we've talked about in a few censor sweeps, or at least I have, is Monarch: Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV Plus. And Kurt Russell, Wyatt Russell playing the same character perfectly. And again, I think as of this recording, I think episode 9 comes out this week, I believe.
Yep.
And 9 and 10 are very good back to back. 10 has the big surprise at the end. Ooh. Won't tell you what it is, but it definitely sets up
Peanuts.
Even if possible. But Ewoks come through and do the nub nub song.
Hey, those Ewoks, you got to watch out. They ate those stormtroopers that they killed.
They almost ate Han and Luke and or Leia.
Scooping brains out of the helmets, was that? Slurp.
Dangerous. Yeah, I may have to get Apple TV for that. And I heard a lot of good things about For All Mankind. So.
Yeah.
And supposedly, J.J. Abrams has, in the planning stages, a new TV series based on Speed Racer. So another reason to have Apple TV Plus.
It's not like he hasn't screwed up other franchises.
You never know.
Screw up one more.
Ryan Coogler is supposed to be relaunching the X-Files. So,
I don't.
What's old is new.
Why can't they just make like new stuff? Don't they have their own ideas?
Well, they did. We
What's
had
the
The Last
back
of
new
Us and a few other things that were new. Yeah, pretty
Well,
good.
I have enjoyed the heck out of the second season of What If. I don't know if you guys.
We just got done watching that.
Yeah,
It was
It's interesting. They released like an episode a night for like a week.
Yeah.
But I had to go on a little little venture down the rabbit hole on this because I thought the guy who did Tony Stark's voice was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, he's been doing Tony Stark's voice through all the Avengers Assembled cartoons and all the different Marvel movies and specials and everything else. So he's been doing Tony Stark probably for the last like 10 years.
More so than Robert Downey.
He's done more hours of Tony Stark than Robert Downey Jr. did. But
His voice is good, but I don't like the way they draw Tony Stark. He looks
man.
weird to me.
Um,
Pig-like. It's like a pig man. Island from Dr. Moreau.
it struck me that we have more hours of Peggy Carter's Captain Carter than we have Steve Rogers as Captain America.
Do we?
Between season 1 and 2, well, you get what, like 30, 45 minutes per episode, 8 episodes. She's not in every single episode, every single minute, but I feel like she's gotten a lot of screen time, which is okay. I mean, I like.
I think
Carter.
Cap had more because you got to figure he had 3 movies plus all the Avengers films and
So 3 movies, 6 hours. Avengers films, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Another series that Jazz and I really, really enjoyed. And season 4 was earlier this year, and that's The Servant. M. Night Shyamalan on Apple TV. Real creepy. And the kid, he's a man now, who played Weasley, Harry Potter's friend. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but the redhead kid with the freckles.
The ginger kids.
Yeah, the ginger kid.
Yeah, he was in Knock at the Cabin.
And he you know, in Harry Potter, I don't know if I think that's his real accent, but he has a real good New York accent in The Servant. And that is one creepy. It's not scary, it's not gothic, it's not gory. It's just really creepy. And it's a slow burn. I don't know where they're going with this. But it's a damn good series. Season 4 was earlier this year. You know, with the strike and everything, I don't know when we'll see a season 5, but
how many per season?
How many episodes?
Yeah.
10.
Okay. Doable.
Yeah. Then they're about an hour or so.
Yeah, we're about, I mentioned before the episode, we're like 6 episodes in on the 8 episodes of Fall of the House of Usher. And that's very loosely based on the Edgar Allan Poe Fall of the House of Usher. But this is more in a corporate setting. The Ushers are a family that own this big pharmaceutical corporation. And basically the kids are getting, the kids are all, in their 20s, 30s, but they're all getting knocked off one by one. And the father is talking to this one guy who's known for years, telling him the story of like how each member of the family was killed or died. And he can see, he's basically thinking he's going into dementia, and he's having a certain type of Alzheimer's where you hallucinate a lot. And so he sees a lot of his children come back in, in their their post-death forms. And it's definitely creepy. It's got a few kind of jump startles and things, but
we started watching the other night, so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
It's on my list. on the long list.
Yeah.
Now, one movie I forgot, which we watched the other night, was Exorcist Believer.
Oh yeah, we saw that one too. That was okay.
So that was interesting. It's now a pair of girls that they basically go off and they get lost in the forest, and by the time they return, they're both possessed.
Yeah.
And they bring back the mother. I can't remember the actress's name, the mother from the original Exorcist, as she's sort of a consultant. She had written a book on Reagan's possession. Yeah. It's good. It's very creepy, and it's definitely better than what was it, Exorcist 2, the Pazuzu.
I liked the second one. It was interesting. I hadn't seen it for a while.
First one's a classic. Second, I don't know. Third one was okay.
Yeah.
And then there's Repossessed with Linda Blair and Leslie Nielsen.
Well, it sounds like we've gotten to that point of the show where we have our censors. Unless you guys have any other remembrance of stuff in 2023.
Coming down to the last couple episodes, I think, of Ultraman Blazar. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. And where is that?
I think it's good.
Netflix?
YouTube. There's actually an Ultraman channel on YouTube, and all the series come out basically. They air in Japan, and then they're out here like the next day. Boom,
Oh,
boom.
that's cool.
And this one is the first that's subtitled and dubbed, so you can choose between the two.
Yeah.
I say that Ultraman Blazar kind of represents us old guys.
Okay.
Because, most of the Ultramans, when they're fighting the monster, they're like, "Hah! Hah!" But Blazar, like, he grunts and groans through the whole thing. He like gets knocked over and getting up. Yeah,
Has to stop.
I do the
in
same thing.
bathroom.
If I'm down playing with Teddy or something and I got to get up, and it's like,
before we go, I do want to do an honorable mention for Blue Eye Samurai. And that's on Netflix.
I've seen it on there, but I have not watched it.
Yeah, I can't remember who told me to watch it or recommended it. And boy, we had to binge. There were some late nights. I felt like I was playing City of Heroes. I didn't want to go to sleep. I was like, I gotta
How
find
many
out.
episodes are there?
God.
What's that?
How many episodes are there?
10 or 12, 8? I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. It's on Netflix.
It's all a blur.
Well, you're saying you had to stay up, and I thought it was going to be like 50 episodes or something.
No, we
Take
got,
it off.
I wake up early in the morning and I usually go to bed by like 10:30. So me staying up till midnight and getting 4 hours sleep is a big deal. So
I don't know how you do that. I'm usually about in bed by this time every night. Not between 9 and 9:30 every night.
I go to bed at like 10:30, 11, get up at 6, but Debbie gets up at 4.
Yeah, I'm up at 5.
Jasmine says
That's like middle of the night for me. I can't do it.
yeah, she's like, you're the only person I've ever met who, when you say goodnight within 5 minutes, you're out. And I'm like, baby,
You're
it's called
exhausted.
exhaustion.
I can't do it.
Physically and mentally.
Some nights I just lay there and stare at the ceiling for hours.
Oh, never.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to me either.
Never. I mean, if anything, I'll wake up like a half hour before my alarm thinking of all the crap I got to do.
Isn't that the worst?
Oh, it's
Like,
terrible.
There's nothing worse than like waking up and you're thinking, oh, I probably got 3 or 4 more hours of sleep. And it's like 30 minutes before the alarm's going to go off. It's like,
Totally.
No, I just sometimes, if Debbie's alarm wakes me up, then sometimes, my mind will start like, oh, let's see, what am I going to have to do today? Oh, I got to work on this and that. And I got to do, and then, I never get back to sleep, but I won't get out of bed till 6 anyway. It's like, damn it, I'm going to stay until 6.
That's right. Well, look, kids, we've come to that part of the show where we are going to share with you, especially after Christmas, just a few things. Just a few things in our censor sweep. And so who would like to kick off the censor sweep?
Well, I got a bunch of stuff, but
let's go to Bob so he can show us his wares.
I'll try to do these quick because we are kind of far into the episode.
Can always save some for next go round too.
Hey, just stop me when you get bored. Mill Creek came out with the best of Ultra 7. That aside, they also came out with Volume 2 of their Kaiju Battle. Volume 1 was Red King. This one is episodes of Balton. And one of the thing I'll say about those two is my Sci-Fi Japan partner and good friend Keith Aiken chose all the episodes and wrote the booklets for him and stuff.
Nice.
This one I just got because Kino Lorber had a sale going on, and I picked up the Blu-ray of It, Terror from Beyond Space.
Oh, cool.
Nice. You gotta love Kino Lorber.
Crash Corrigan with his chin hanging out of the
Mhm.
alien mask. And then this one, The Prince from Fortune Star, but I'm gonna have to put my glasses on here for just a second.
One moment.
It was a 3-film set, and I cannot see what company released it, but it's basically a region 2 or something from England. Winners and Sinners, My Lucky Stars, and Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, 3 Jackie Chan films that were directed by Sammo Hung and featuring a comedy group from Hong Kong called the Lucky Stars. And
Nice.
they're very funny if you haven't seen them. This one I bought from my good friend Kevin D'Antonio. X Plus put out a model kit, not your typical vinyl Japanese model kit. This is a plastic kit modeled after the old Aurora model kits, same scale, same style. And this is Revenge of the Creature.
Ooh.
So I think when I retire, I've got all these model kits downstairs. When I retire, I'm going to learn how to airbrush and build all these things. And then Christmas gifts, really quick. From Debbie, I got Jeeg of Steel,
Ooh.
the guy robot that I've always liked. I finally got the whole series subtitled. I need to watch that. But we were in a store and I saw that, so she picked it up for me. My stepson Michael got me Ultraman Zero. It's a little he's in his kind of changing pose.
That's cool.
That's and then Kevin gave me for Christmas an M1 like all silver Ultraman.
Oh, that's cool.
There he is, pretty big. Very cool.
Nice.
Kind of reminds me of some of the old like Popey toys and maybe a little bull mark in it. So that was my haul. Other than that, I did
Nice.
buy myself this jacket, which very expensive, but if you're watching on YouTube, it's got Godzilla on one breast, Mothra on the other, and on the back, if you can see it,
Oh yeah.
2 of them battling. But quick story on this jacket, which I thought was kind of funny, is I had a doctor's appointment I had to go to. And that morning, Kevin and I went out and saw Godzilla -1 on IMAX.
Ooh.
And I had this jacket on. I had a Godzilla t-shirt on. And so I thought I was going to be able to come back to the house and change before the doctor's appointment, but I didn't have time. So I went right to this jacket, like reverses, and it's got some cool black and blue. It's very plain. So I figured, well, I'll just reverse it and they won't think I'm that big a geek. And so I'm in there and I took the jacket off, threw it on the chair. And the nurse, who was like taking my blood pressure and all that, she saw the t-shirt. And so the first thing she asks is, have you seen the new movie? I've seen it twice. And I said, yeah, I saw it for the 3rd time today. Check out this jacket. Reversed it again and put it back on. But yeah, so I'm getting more and more comments from people about Godzilla these days than I ever have. Just, I think because of -1 and, you know, Godzilla versus Kong and the new one coming out. People are seeing the trailers for that. So yeah, it's a very Godzilla time, a good Godzilla time to be alive.
Some friends were at Harry's Hofbräu and I had a Famous Monsters Godzilla shirt on. We were gonna go see the film. And this lady in line's like, oh my God, it's a Godzilla shirt. That's so cool. I'm like, yeah, we're getting ready to go see the movie. She's like, there's a movie?
Yeah, there's 30 some movies, but
Yeah, it's called -1. It's in theaters. Well, she was just amazed that there was a Godzilla movie playing in a theater, and I'm like, oh, it's on there. No, we watch them on Pluto TV or whatever. But I'm like, oh, cool.
Do you guys get Pluto
Oh, yeah.
TV?
Yeah.
Do you have problems with it? Like, I noticed this is totally off track, but since you just mentioned it, I'll be watching like the Star Trek channel on Pluto TV, and man, it goes in and out, in and out. Like the signal, and it's not just the Star Trek channel, because then I'll go try to check all the other channels, and it's just constantly going in and out.
Obviously, I watched the Godzilla channel on Pluto and Tokusatsu, which has everything from Ultraman to Kamen Rider to Sentai shows. Yeah, I haven't had any problems at all.
It's the only service I have problems with. Everything else is fine, but Pluto, for whatever reason, is just always problematic.
I've got that sonic fiber internet that's just like grease lightning.
Man, I need to get me some of that. I
We
need to get
don't,
my trans warp internet.
Because before I got Sonic and I was on Comcast, I would be watching, God, what was it? Oh, Star Trek Discovery. And I'd always have stutter problems and freeze ups. And I got the Sonic internet and it's
Hey kids, I'm gonna refocus us into our urine
Please,
review.
please do, please do.
We just had a 5 minute like internet
Segue. Yeah, I know.
pitch.
Sorry, kids.
That's okay. Yeah. Sorry, kids.
Anyway, that's all the stuff I bought and got.
Okay, Walker, would you like to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. I don't get quite the haul I used to at Christmas.
Oh, you
I
get
could-
older, your friends die off, and you just don't get that many. Oh,
well, or you get divorced or whatever. Now I could show you the leather jacket I got. It's very nice. I could show you the socks I got. Those are very nice, but not that cool.
Hey, we were talking about cable TV internet service too, so bring them out.
Now I did. My good
Oh.
friend, Mr. Larry, got me this magnificent Conan the Barbarian official story of the film book. This is really nice.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
I actually plowed. You can see my bookmark. I plowed halfway through already.
Wow.
It's just chock full of pictures and all the information about, we couldn't film in Yugoslavia. We went to Spain and, all this stuff. So a lot of great information. So thank you, Larry, for that. Really cool. Also got myself as a gift from a gift card, this
Ooh.
book. It is the newest novel in the Murderbot series called System Collapse by Martha Wells. It's all about android cyborg that is sort of this security bot in a far future that gets involved in all these different adventures and is also trying to deal with like having sort of sentience and emotions and stuff. Interesting thing. And then a final thing I'll just share, which I've been plowing through, not genre related, but maybe of interest to our listeners, viewers, is this massive tome called The Lyrics by Sir Paul McCartney and another guy who helped him write it. Very interesting. Most of his songs, although not all his songs, but most of his songs are here, helped me realize that I have been singing the wrong words to Live and Let Die for 40 some
That was
years.
hilarious.
So
That can be said by any number of songs.
and he's got nice stories about the songs or his process for songwriting, which like he's just like, oh yeah, I sit down and I do this for like 3 hours and I get a song. And it's like, dude, that's not what most people can do. He doesn't realize it's a gift. So
Well, to bring it back into the genre,
yes.
did he talk about Magneto and Titanium Man?
Yes, he has that in there. And he says that he really likes comic art. And so it was sort of, and he talks about comic art and pop art. And he said that was sort of his tribute to comic art.
That's cool.
Yeah, because he did he did that, and he mentions the Crimson Dynamo in there and everything. So
Mhm. Yeah, he said he enjoyed reading comics and he loved the art in comics. And
well,
that
if you
was
look at
why he
Help,
did it.
they're in their little apartment there, and his organ,
That comes.
musical instrument organ, raising out of the floor, and he has all these comic books lined up on it. So yeah.
Yes.
So I can't mention Oregon and rising up without
That was great.
putting it into context.
We're going all over tonight. That was a great Walker. You know, the funny thing is yours truly needs socks and lederhosen, but nope, didn't pick any of those up. No practical gifts. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan, Bob and Karen also, of tiki, the culture, the establishments, tiki lounges. And so locally, they had these Miracle on Market Street, Miracle on Telegraph, wherever these taverns, lounges, or bars were, they had a tiki takeover, and it was Christmas themed. So you'd have like polar bears and Jack Skellington, and one of them had a leg lamp from Christmas Story. And anyway, the naughty and nice shot glass, not really genre related, but it's Santa with a black handle and a red handle. And there were different kinds of shots you could get if you were naughty or
I
nice.
should have had Santa and Krampus.
Well, they introduced not a small shot, but there was a Krampus mug, and they weren't selling them this year, but
Really?
I think they'll sell them next year.
They just show it and say, "Bet you don't have one of these."
No, you can buy the Krampus drink. I got one, and Fireball, and it had cinnamon and some other kind of stuff in it. What they did sell this year, what Jenny Martin got, was a unicorn tiki mug. Which hey, to each his own. I didn't feel it was more Christmassy than tiki, so I didn't purchase that. But anyway, yeah, Miracle on every year. Check your local tiki bars or taverns, and they may have them. Speaking of bars and establishments, a card game called Rum Rum, the competitive game of tiki mixology. So when you and Karen come over to visit,
Fascinating.
we'll make our cocktails based on these ingredients on this card. My dear wife Jasmine, knowing that I do lots of research for lots of episodes for our podcast, got me this tome, the Star Wars Timelines. And this is a thick one here. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you get to see the cover and some of the inside of the books and stuff. So I'll be utilizing that. What happens is after a year, though, with all the product, because of the strike, I might get 2 years out of this. It gets outdated eventually, but
Always.
this was a commander gift to the commander. Been wanting this for a while. Star
Ah,
Trek Year 5.
nice.
What happened to
And
year
this is
four?
what's that?
What happened to year 4?
I didn't share that last year.
There is a book on year 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it the animated series year 4?
No. Well, yeah, that's right. The animated series is Year 4. But yeah, they've been putting stuff out. IDW. This is the deluxe edition, and it's well written and well drawn. Again, those of you on YouTube, you get to check that out.
So it's a big comic book.
It's a graphic novel, and they put a bunch of issues together. I guess there's a monthly series.
Yeah, if I was still regularly going to comic shops, I'd be checking that out because I've heard a lot of good things about their Star Trek series.
I mean, look at the artwork.
That's nice.
Yeah. Like I said, those of you on YouTube, I go to the local. We only have 2 shops left in town, and one is kind of out of town, couple miles away. And I don't go there every week like I used to, but I try to keep the brick and mortars in business. God knows I've gotten enough stuff off of Amazon. Um, anyway, and I drop off little Planet 8 postcards too. So when you guys go to the comic shop, you can.
Yeah, there's 2 comic shops down by where I work. There's none where I live, but 2 by where I work. So there's one that I frequent. I have subscriptions there for.
There used to be like a dozen,
Yeah.
in the area, and they're gone.
Well, now it's all online cyber comic stuff.
Or Amazon. I mean, there is a
Yeah.
ton of stuff. One day we got a delivery of like Jasmine got me a pizza stone for the oven, and shoes, toothpicks, watch batteries. Like this box came with all this like crap that we'd otherwise go to a hardware store and a comic store and a shoe store, and anyway.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, there's things to be said about, hey, I'm going out shopping today.
Yeah, or I'm going to go to a bookstore and I'm going to look at the book.
Store and you go out to all these places. It's like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, I miss flipping my way through record stores and all the stuff you discover just flipping through bins and things.
Well, if you're ever out in Berkeley, they still have Rasputin's.
Yeah, there's a street light out in Campbell.
Oh, street light. Oh,
and there used to be a Rasputin's there. I think
it's there, but it's only open like 3 days. Saturday and Sunday being 2 of those 3 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, streetlight's still out there too. Last but not least, certainly my dear friend Walker purchased, because again, we do a lot of research for the podcast. And gosh dang it, I just love Disney. So this is the Walt Disney Film Archives, the animated movies from 1921 to 1968.
Well, and I didn't know. Now, I had bought a smaller version of that for you years ago, and I didn't know if it survived the fire.
I don't know. We're getting ready to move back in another 2 months. They're putting the finishing touches on the house. And I haven't gone through all the boxes yet of things that survived and didn't survive. But I remember that. So when I saw this, a little man tear kind of appeared, because this heifer is huge. But I love the other one.
Appear on January 1st when Steamboat Willie went into public domain?
No, but I read today they're already working on a horror movie with Steamboat Mickey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Peg-Leg Pete and
footage already.
Look at the beautiful animation picture. And I haven't dug into this yet, but man, oh man, there's a lot of good information. More so than the first copy you got me, buddy, I'm sure. So anyway, that's all the stuff I got to share in this censor sweep. We've gone over our allotted usual
bit, right?
As usual.
I wasn't timing this one, so I don't know how far we're in. But
we'll talk. But let me just say, Happy New Year to you all, to the crew of Planet 8. Thank you guys dearly for your love and support and doing this great show. Every 2 weeks for over 5 years. I love and appreciate you both, and to our listeners, we love and appreciate you to continue to support us. Comments on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, share the show, like, subscribe. Any last words, Bob, Karen, before we close out our first episode of 2024?
Just Happy New Year. And I'm kind of hoping, because you look on social media and every year it's like, oh, thank God that year is over. Now we got another hell to live through. But I'm kind of hoping that people, if we all take a positive attitude about 2024, maybe we can turn things around and have a good year, at least until the elections come up. But let's all try to get the mojo out there and make 2024 a good year for everyone.
Amen to that.
Yeah, second that idea.
Yeah. A lot of it is the attitude that we have and the company we keep. And so again, we consider ourselves very fortunate. You all take care. And until we meet again, this is Planet 8 signing off. Take care. Peace out.
On that note, this will conclude this transmission from Planet 8. We would like to thank all of our intergalactic audience for listening. Be sure to head on over to our website at www.planet8podcast.com, where you can get more information on this episode's topic.
For more conversation, find us on Twitter at Planet8Cast.
Or on Facebook at facebook.com/Planet8Podcast.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in each and every episode. We look forward to your input and opinions. Until next time, this is Planet 8 signing off. End transmission.
By George, he's got it. It is the end.